Thank you for tuning into Crime Chat. On today's episode, we outline the mysterious timeline surrounding the deaths of family members associated with Chad and Lori Daybell.
Lori Vallow Daybell was born Lori Noreen Cox on June 26, 1973, in San Bernardino, California. She was a cheerleader at Eisenhower High School in Rialto, California. Her parents, Barry L. Cox and Janice L. Cox, appear to now be living in Arizona. However, this has not been confirmed. Janice recently petitioned with the IRS to use a post office box instead of an address. Both parents appear to indicate they are sovereign citizens. Per Wikipedia, self-described sovereign citizens see themselves as answerable only to their particular interpretations of the common law, and as not subject to any government statutes or proceedings. In the United States, they do not recognize U.S. currency and maintain that they are free of any legal constraints. They especially reject most forms of taxation as illegitimate. As such, Barry Cox pled guilty to making a false statement to the Internal Revenue Service and spent time in prison. The parents continue to dispute paying taxes and continue to battle with the government. They currently owe tax and overdue penalties. Lori has two brothers, Adam Cox, who is a radio podcast host in Wichita, Kansas, and Alex Cox, who passed away on December 12, 2019. And three sisters, Laura Lee, who passed away at 6 weeks old on August 5, 1971, Stacy Cope Cox, who passed away in 1998 of unknown causes, and Summer Shiflett, living in Arizona with her husband and children. Per accounts, the family were devout Mormons. Lori is currently married to her fifth husband, Chad Daybell, whom she married just 2 weeks after Chad's wife passed away. Brother Alexander Cox, who appears to be born in California as well, had been close with his sister Lori and frequently located to be near her. Alex had recently married Zulema R. Pastines in a quick Las Vegas ceremony on November 29, 2019, and requested to take her name to become Alexander Lamar Pastines. Alex did not appear to have regular work or income, but has performed as a stand-up comedian in the past. Chad Daybell, born in Provo, Utah on August 11, 1968. While he was Mormon, according to the Daily Mail, Chad was excommunicated from the Mormon Church after he declared that he was a prophet. He is an author who has written more than 20 apocalyptic fiction and LDS novels, as well as a cemetery maintenance worker and cemetery sexton in Springville, Utah, and Spanish Fork City, respectively. Chad writes about his near-death experiences, the end of the world, and communicating with people on the other side of the veil. This term used frequently in LDS or Latter-day Saint movement. One of the clearest, yet at times most perplexing themes in the history of God's dealings with mankind involves his decision to draw a veil between our world of mortality and his world of the eternities. Not only does the veil keep us from remembering our past, which we call the pre-existence, but also it keeps us from seeing many things that are going on at the present. For God, his angels, and their activities are hidden from our sight. Chad has 3 brothers and 1 sister. His 3 brothers are or have also been gravediggers. Per Matt, one of his brothers, my immediate family has had little association with Chad the last many years due to our concerns with his religious claims and particular books he had chosen to publish, including his own. Matt Daybell says, "We are deeply saddened at the recent events that have played out the last several months." On March 9, 1990, Chad married Tamara Tammy Douglas in the Manti Temple in Manti, Utah. They resided in Springville, Utah until 2015, when the family moved to Salem, Idaho. They were married 29 years and have 5 children together. Let's review the timeline of related events surrounding the deaths. March 9, 1990. Chad and Tammy marry in Manti, Utah. 1992. Lori Cox marries her high school boyfriend, Nelson Yanes, shortly after graduating high school. Details remain unknown, and the two apparently divorced quickly with no children. October 22, 1995. Lori marries husband number 2, William LaGoya, in Travis County, Texas. July 5, 1996. William and Lori welcome a son, Colby, in Texas. December 17, 1996. William LaGoya files for divorce. February 25, 1998. Lori's second divorce is finalized. William goes on to remarry, and yes, he is still alive, living in Texas. May 21, 1998. Sister Stacy dies of unknown causes. However, it was reported to have been related to her type 1 diabetes. Per reports, Alex was in the home and used her credit card following her death. 2001. Lori marries husband number 3, Joseph Anthony Ryan Jr. From 2001 to 2002, Joseph adopts Colby, and Colby changes his last name to Ryan. However, Colby later states that he was never officially adopted, he just changed his last name. September 24, 2002. Joseph and Lori welcome a daughter, Tylee. August 13, 2004. Joseph Ryan files for divorce. May 18, 2005. Lori's third divorce is finalized. While they were divorced, there were many reports of issues and custody battles until his death. February 24, 2006. Lori marries husband number 4, Leland Charles Anthony Vallow, in Las Vegas. August 5, 2007. Alex is arrested in Austin, Texas, for aggravated assault against Lori's third husband, Joseph Ryan. Cox had used a stun gun against Ryan and threatened to kill him. Ryan had just finished a supervised visit with his 4-year-old daughter, Tylee. Cox spent 90 days in jail. May 25, 2012. Joshua Jackson, known as JJ, was born. JJ was born to Kay Woodcock's son, who is Charles Vallow's sister. July 2014. Charles and Lori Vallow adopt JJ. Late 2014-2015, Charles, Lori, Tylee, and JJ moved to Kauai, Hawaii. Lori becomes obsessed with Chad Daybell books, especially infatuated with Standing in Holy Places series, a fictional series. In 2015, Chad and Tammy moved to Salem, Idaho. In 2017, Charles, Lori, Tylee, and JJ moved to Phoenix, Arizona. April 3, 2018, Joseph Ryan, Tylee's father, dies from what is ruled a heart attack in Gilbert, Arizona. His body is cremated. Lori is his next of kin. Melanie Gibbs stated Lori told her Tylee received funds after her father, Joe Ryan, died. September 23, 2018. Lori and Chad Daybell supposedly meet, according to an anonymous email that was allegedly from a close friend of Chad. December 5, 2018. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell appeared together on a Preparing a People podcast, Time to Warrior Up. Preparing a People is rumored to be a doomsday cult that focuses on the second coming of Jesus. January 2019. Lori and Charles moved to Gilbert, Arizona. Per Kay, Charles' sister and JJ's paternal grandmother, Charles said Lori doesn't want me anymore. She doesn't want JJ, and you'll end up raising JJ, so I want you to have the money, referring to his insurance policy for $1 million. January 28th, 29th, 2019, Lori moves approximately $35,000 out of a business account to an unknown account. February 8th, 2019, Charles Vallow files for divorce from Lori. According to the court documents, Charles accused his wife of becoming infatuated at times, obsessive, about near-death experiences and spiritual visions. He also claimed Lori had threatened to kill him if he got in her way during her mission as a god to carry out the work of the 144,000 at Christ's second coming in July 2020, and claimed she had an angel there to help her dispose of the body. Charles reportedly changed his beneficiary from Lori to Kay, his sister. February to March 2019, per reports, Lori mysteriously disappears for 58 days. February 25, 2019, tried to access his insurance policy information and lock him out. March 6, 2019, Charles applies and receives approval for dismissal of the divorce. July 11, 2019, Charles was shot and killed by Lori's brother, Alex Cox, in Chandler, Arizona, where Lori was living in Mesquite Grove Estates. Cox claims he shot Charles in self-defense after being hit with a baseball bat. Months before his death, Charles made Kay the beneficiary of his $1 million insurance policy, per Charles's ex-wife, Cheryl. Charles was a semi-pro baseball player. If he hit Alex in the head with a bat, he would be dead. But Charles was not a violent person. July 15, 2019, Lori found out she was not going to receive any money following a call to Charles's insurance company. Per reports, Kay Woodcock confirmed they did receive the money. She said receiving the money was not contingent on having custody of JJ. Lori was upset and texted Kay. She said, 5 kids and no money, and his sister gets everything. According to research by EastIdahoNews.com, Lori was getting $5,000 to $6,000 a month as a single mother raising a son with special needs. July 2019, over the next few weeks, communication with JJ decreased, says Kay Woodcock. August 10th, 2019, per reports, this is the last time that Larry and Kay Woodcock reportedly spoke with JJ. August 30, 2019, Lori moves the children, JJ and Tylee, to Rexburg, Idaho, where Chad Daybell lives with his wife Tammy. Lori also returns JJ's service dog, citing a change in life circumstances. September 2019, Lori's brother, Alex Cox, arrived a few days later and rented a different apartment next to Lori. September 8, 2019, Tylee is last seen in Yellowstone, along with Lori, Alex, and JJ. September 9th, 2019, Alex Cox's cell phone GPS coordinates indicate he was at Lori's house from 2:42 a.m. and 3:37 a.m. Note, this is the only time he has ever been at Lori's between midnight and 6 a.m. Later that morning, his GPS coordinates showed him outside near the east end of the barn on Chad Daybell's property from 9:21 a.m. to 11:39 a.m. At 11:53 a.m., Chad sent a text message to Tammy that said, "Well, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all of the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times." September 19, 2019. Per Melanie Gibb, Lori's best friend, she visited Lori and remembers walking around the Brigham Young University, Idaho campus, an indoor track with Lori and Chad, who were holding hands and kissing. Lori told Melanie that Tylee was at BYU, Idaho. September 23rd, JJ is last seen at his new school, Kennedy Elementary in Rexburg, Idaho. At 9:55 a.m. to 10:12 a.m., Alex's cell phone GPS coordinates placed him at a pond on the northern edge of Daybell's property. September 24, 2019, Lori informs JJ's school that she will be withdrawing him from school and she will be homeschooling instead. She also let the babysitter know she is no longer needed. October 1st, 2019, Lori rents a storage locker in Rexburg, in which her children's belongings are later found, Alex's GPS location is also linked to the locker on several days' times. October 2nd, 2019. Lori purchased a wedding ring on Amazon for $35.99. Lori paid for the ring on her deceased husband's Amazon account. The ring was delivered to a Rexburg townhouse and was in the name of the now deceased Charles Vallow. Lori continued to use Charles's account after his death. Also on October 2nd, 2019, Brandon Bedreau, Lori Vallow's nephew-in-law, is the target of a failed drive-by shooting in Gilbert, Arizona, believed to be conducted by Alex Cox. On October 9, 2019, Tammy Daybell calls police after a masked assailant attempted to shoot her with a paintball gun. October 10, 2019, a payment was made to Colby Ryan from Tylee's account with a message that read, "We love you." October 16, 2019, another payment made to Colby with a heart emoji. She stated she was too busy to talk. October 19, 2019, Tammy Daybell is found dead in her home in Salem, Idaho. She had allegedly died in her sleep the previous night. She was buried in Springville, Utah. No autopsy was performed. November 5, 2019. Lori marries husband number 5, Chad Daybell, in Hawaii. On November 7, 2019, a reporter interviewed a woman in Hawaii who had a rental property that Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow had inquired about in person on November 7th, 19 days after Chad Daybell's wife Tammy had reportedly died in her sleep at their home. Chad said he was looking for a rental for himself and his new wife who lives here on Kauai. The couple made no mention of children. November 29, 2019. Alex Cox marries Zulema Pastines of Gilbert, Arizona in Las Vegas, taking her last name. On December 11, 2019. Rexburg police announced the body of Tammy had been exhumed. December 12, 2019. Lori's brother, Alex Cox, dies from blood clots in his lungs in Gilbert, Arizona. Alex was cremated. An autopsy determined that the 51-year-old died of natural causes, but noted that he had the overdose drug Narcan in his system at the time. That is a quick recap and timeline of events leading up to the mysterious deaths. At the time of writing this, June 20th, both Tylee and JJ's bodies have been found. Now let's take a quick look at Lori's parents again. Per court documents, it appears they do not agree with all of the United States laws, at least when it comes to money and taxes. As we know, paying tax is a law, and clearly they do not believe they are responsible for paying income tax to the U.S. government according to court documents. This may also extend to reporting of people whom have died. In essence, why report someone has passed? You can't then continue to earn benefits like welfare, Social Security, credit from banks, etc. You may elect to report this to insurance companies if there are life insurance policies in place, but are insurance companies required to report it to the government? Comment below and let us know. These beliefs were probably communicated to the children. This can be seen with Alex. When his sister Stacy passed away in 1998, allegedly, he took it upon himself to use her credit card after she had passed. You can also tie where money drove action to this specific case. In May 2020, The Sun wrote, "It has now been almost 8 months since the children were last seen. Though multiple family members have claimed that the children are safe, those claims were not made in court or to police, but rather in network interviews that provided concerned family members with compensation for their time." It sounds like family members took the opportunity to profit from this unfortunate situation instead of assisting with resolution. Did they only speak in public when they were paid? If they were paid, did they say anything that helped bring us closer to resolution? By all accounts, it sounded like they did not provide any information that might further assist in finding the children. They did not provide further details, perhaps because they obviously did not know. Was this all about money? Now let's look at Joseph Ryan's death. Joseph Ryan was in a custody battle for Tylee right up until his death. That is, since 2004, over 14 years. So why kill him after 14 plus years? If you were concerned about losing custody, why not kill him sooner? After 18, she would have had the freedom as an adult to do whatever she wants. Well, during those years, there was probably a financial benefit for Lori. It would be safe to assume that Joseph was paying Lori child support payments. So this is clearly a financial benefit for Lori. However, once Tylee turns 18, child support payments would no longer continue, at which point it might be more beneficial to earn money from an inheritance. In Arizona, if you die with children but no spouse, children inherit everything. We do know, per Melanie Gibb, that Tylee benefited financially from her father's death. Separately, when the family was paid to speak, they mentioned that she did not want to lose custody of her children. But at 18, which was not that far away, Tylee could have left on her own accord. This may have been a red herring to have us believe that she cared more about the children versus the money or something else. There is motive on behalf of Lori and possibly her brother, as he may have benefited financially, since we do not know how Alex made a living. We do know that Alex was involved back in 2007 when he used a stun gun against Ryan and threatened to kill him. Also note that Lori, who was Joseph's next of kin, had him cremated. Could this be to hide any evidence? Charles's death. We do know that Charles had $1 million life insurance policy, and that Lori was aware of this. However, if Charles and Lori divorced, would she still be the beneficiary? It would have been in her best interest to stay married. However, Charles was becoming a burden to her and Chad's plan. The question would remain, how could they benefit financially from the situation? We do know that Lori attempted to access the insurance policy and make sure she was the beneficiary. Perhaps she realized that she was removed because Charles had filed for divorce. Therefore, reconciling would have been a better option. Melanie stated that Charles wanted the divorce. However, accounts from Charles indicate that Lori wanted the divorce. Regardless, we do know that Charles changed his mind and wanted to try to make it work. Therefore, it sounds like Charles did not want the divorce. Lori did, and she changed her mind. Was it for money? If Charles moved forward with the divorce, would she lose custody of JJ and all of the potential money? Either way, it was more financially beneficial for Charles to be gone. Tylee's death. In Tylee's case, was it a case of knowing too much, and or perhaps she was no longer a financial benefit for Lori? Once she turned 18, she could live on her own and manage her own money. We know that she did receive money from her father, and so this would have been attractive for Lori. Tylee may have also known more about how Charles passed away. We do know there were conflicting accounts of what happened that day. As Tylee got older, would this information get out? JJ's death. At this point, we all know that Kay received the $1 million insurance policy and Lori received nothing. We also know that Lori received $5,000 to $6,000 from the government for raising JJ, a special needs child, to a single mother. Did Kay give any money to Lori for the benefit of JJ since she received $1 million from the insurance policy? If not, was Kay planning to raise JJ? There were many options and many risks for Lori to lose out on any money. This could be why the kids were never reported. She may have continued to receive $5,000 to $6,000 per month from the government, as the government would have no idea the children were no longer living. Tammy's death. While Lori's motives may have been financial, was this the case for Chad? Or was it passion? Note that Chad seems to have various other women in his life. Julie Rowe, Melanie Gibb, and Julie stated there were other women. Was he having affairs with any of these women and possibly persuading them to believe him? Was he looking for the right person that would believe his word? Now that he found that person in Lori, were the others just in the way of his plan? Note that authorities say Chad Daybell received $430,000 through her life insurance policy. Alex's death. Perhaps he was the fall guy, and in the end, the fall guy must die to close any loose ends. After all, he was cremated, so any and all evidence is now gone. It seems odd that the deaths surrounding Lori were all cremated, except Charles, whom we already know was shot by Alex, claiming self-defense. Could he have killed everyone on command for money? Perhaps he benefited financially. How could he afford to live with no income? We know that Tammy's body had been exhumed the day before he was found dead, and if the evidence pointed to him, would he then implicate others? He also changed his last name when he married, and this seems odd. Was he trying to move on to a new life, leaving the old behind, or at least any trace of it behind? This is a very sad and tragic ending for all of the families involved. Our condolences to the families. To hear more about missing persons or homicides, please subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and join us in our crime chats. Thank you for watching.